And we're live.
So I linked you that thing about Lord of the Rings. I wanted to get, but I didn't ask your opinion. We just kind of chuckled over it. So they're saying, so they're hiring an intimacy coordinator and a nudity advisor or some shit, which is like, in our politically correct world, you can't just do nude scenes in movies and TV shows anymore. You've got to have like a team of people to make sure that nobody gets Me Too'd and that everybody's okay with like how their titties look on camera, I guess.
You did it to yourself, Hollywood.
You did it to yourself. And but they're hiring these people for the new Amazon Lord of the Rings show, which strongly suggests that there's going to be some titties in Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And I sent you that meme, and it's Sam like over his pot of like rabbit, his brace of conies, and he's going, "What we need is a few good titties."
Few good titties. Boil them up, mash them,
stick them in a stew.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Frankly, like you know, I'm not as huge of a fan as you. I didn't discover it as early, but I watched the movies as they came out in theaters. I read the books, or I read it as a book. I haven't gotten too deep into the Silmarillion, but I'm a big fan of Tolkien and the works. I don't mind some titties.
I don't really care either way. I don't want them to try and go too Game of Thronesy with it and lose the plot, because sometimes that happened in Game of Thrones where it was like, oh, well, you know, we'll have the sand snake thing. Oh, we can throw in like 3 titty scenes with the sand snakes. And it's like, no, that was like crowd appeasement because you thought they wanted titties, when in reality, everybody was pissed for the most part. Like, what the fuck? The story's going no. Like, I don't want them to pull that shit again where they get off in the weeds with, I guess, non-canon nonsense. Well, I guess all this is non-canon. Usually the Tolkien estate has like a family member come and oversee that stuff because I guess J.R.R. Tolkien was like super anal about people not fucking.
I think they bought some rights. I think they can do just about whatever they want.
Oh, you're right. That's we talked about that. I should have remembered. Yeah, they spent a fuck ton of money for like the Lord of the Rings rights. So
like $100 million to maybe more.
It might be a deal with what they're going to make on this. Like, it's very popular. So we'll see how good it does. I just hope they don't get too Game of Thronesy. Like you know, if they slip some titties in, that doesn't bother you. I don't really care. No,
I don't either. I don't think
the characters are good. Like, if they try and like shoehorn some nonsense character that wasn't even like, because you know they're gonna do shit like that. Like, that'll be annoying. I won't. Yeah, like, I'm more concerned about them.
The way they plugged Legolas. The way they plugged Legolas into The Hobbit, for example.
Yeah, like it was just totally like, what the hell is going on here? This is just distracting at this. Oh, you just wanted Orlando Bloom, and now we need to watch this horrible CGI rock bounce.
And they plugged in that female elf and her like weird emotional thing or relationship thing with the fucking dwarf.
Yeah, and it's like, what? You're not even in the book. Who are you?
Yeah, they just made up a character.
I didn't like that one bit.
Like, you know, hot elf number 2.
That's basically the character it was.
Yeah, so, it's hot elf number 2.
I'm hoping that they don't fuck up.
We couldn't get Liv Tyler, so we've got hot elf number 2, and she's going to have the hots for a 3-foot-tall hairy man.
Yes. Well, we checked out Liv Tyler. Turns out she's 51 now. So we're going to back off that and go with this person.
Yeah.
She's probably deep in her 40s at least. I mean, Lord of the Rings came out, what? Started in 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20 years, almost 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Even, that's one show, even if it is ass, I'm going to sit down and it'll have to be like really fucking terrible and it bother me for me to not watch the Lord of the Rings series coming out.
Yeah. We're talking about the nudity in the Lord of the Rings series.
Yeah. We agreed that, like,
to be a little, right?
We don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're discussing. And I think Taylor and I both came down that we don't mind the nudity. What I really don't like is when they shoehorn characters in. I don't like I dislike fake girl power. I dislike fake boy power, and I don't like I don't want any I don't want any LGBTQ characters in this show. Is that wrong? I don't want any black characters either.
I'm less sensitive to the whole LGBT. I don't have any problem with black characters. I can imagine them existing.
But they didn't.
Nudity is a plus.
I can't imagine it because Tolkien didn't.
Tolkien did not imagine it. You're right. He based it on like old European civilizations and stuff. And so that's why there weren't like black characters in Lord of the Rings, because it was like more of a, oh, I'm going to take this region here and like, if it was in a fantasy, like that kind of shit.
But they're going to expand on the canon, right? Like this thing's.
I don't know. I think it's kind of up in the air what they're going to do.
You hope.
Hopefully,
not.
I mean, there's a lot of canon to work with that they could use.
Yeah, they haven't run out of story. They've got like so much canon to work with. I just hope they don't. Look, saying that titties are anti-Tolkien doesn't make any sense to me. There's female character. Did you ever see the original illustrations of what Arwen looked like when she's fucking doing battle with the Witch King?
Yeah, it's very sexual.
She's wearing like a thong dress.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I saw this Reddit comment and they're like, they said something about like how the Witch King would have heard her coming with them things clapping.
Yeah.
What's her name? It's
Arwen.
How do you spell that?
Arwen.
Yeah. Just
oh wait, no, you're thinking of Aon. EOWYN.
Aowen, yeah, because it's the Latin for horse prefix.
How do you spell it?
Everybody's AO.
EOWYN.
Yeah, Aowen.
Sister of Eomer, son of Theoden.
She's got like this big old ass, and she's wearing a dress that's basically a thong. So that like the dress comes above her ass, but there's a strip that hangs over her ass crack. And she's like doing battle with the Witch King dressed like that. It's like, who are you fooling on the ride here? Like, there had to be some point where we weren't on our horses.
Like, if there's like, what I don't want is like a scene where it's like, Gimli, you've arrived. And he's like, and I brought my wacky friend Gunter. And it's like, oh, no, don't bring Gunter along.
This is life partner, Klung Chong.
And Klung Chong always has a witty take. It's like, oh, I don't know if I fucking...
Actually, that what Taylor just mentioned bothers me. So, like Avengers, I won't spend a lot of time. We'll go back, but they had like a 2.5 hour movie and maybe 45 seconds of like a girl power scene they shoehorned in there. I can get past that. Like that doesn't ruin the movie.
It was lame though.
Sure, but there's 45 seconds of lameness and a whole.
Taylor, they have this moment in the movie where like all the female characters have somehow like gotten together. Like, first of all, there's a massive battle going on. Literally every character from all 27 prior movies has shown up.
Are all the men already fighting?
Everyone is already
men and
fighting.
women. They're all fighting.
They are fighting like a dozen drop ships full of an alien race of destructors.
And the women are powerful, right? This is superhero stuff. Women, it's fine for them to be. Yeah.
Fucking Pepper Potts is there. She hasn't done shit since Iron Man 3 back in 2000. I thought
she worked in administration.
She has an Iron Man costume.
She dug up her Iron Man costume, which shouldn't by any means still exist, by the way, because he blew them all up at the end of 3, where they build her a new one in the interim. I don't think so. Yeah, but they built her one for this. Her and the Pegasus bitch and like Ant Woman Wasp, that's her name. Like they're all just like, we're here, pussy power. Like at this moment, they're all like shoulder to shoulder with
Scarlet
like not
Witch,
a cock
Captain
in
Marvel.
sight.
Yeah. What is the Wasp? What is
she's basically Ant-Man, but she can fly.
Yeah.
I thought Ant-Man could fly.
He flies on an ant.
So he can fly.
I don't remember him flying much in the movies.
She has wings. He flies on an actual ant.
Wow.
Not in the movie though, right? Like,
yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, but he's flying.
The Ant-Man movie, he's often flying around on an ant. He shrinks himself down smaller than an ant in his Ant-Man costume and then gets on top of a winged ant and flies it around.
Like, I do remember this, but I feel like you're describing it as if it's a trained ant that he uses for transportation.
It is literally a trained ant that he communicates with.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Like he's talking to it like, no, left. Like
I remember him like hanging on for dear life, just happening to find a nearby ant that he's working with him. That's not how it goes?
He seems to be able to ride any of the ants and communicate with them through his ant powers.
I remember whenever he needed to travel, he just got really big and took big steps. Like that's kind of how I recall.
There was a part where he did that a bit, but when he has to travel like inside, they're like infiltrating like a circuit board or something, and he's like super tiny flying around on the inner workings of like a security system, and he's flying a goddamn ant.
It's weird that getting super small is what you're muted, Taylor, is much of a superpower.
That time I just muted myself.
Well, he keeps the same mass. It just becomes ultra dense.
I hear you, but like
a bullet.
Like a bullet.
look, just
Like a
being
bullet
small is not usually a really useful superpower. If there's a fight that needs to be happening, getting really small is like, it's a silly way to fight.
He would, I imagine, and this is speaking knowing very few of the characters, there's no way if they were on an island and voting off like the least useful members that he wouldn't be in like the bottom 10th.
He's
right?
super useful.
Oh, no.
First of all,
He's
he's
really
a genius. He's a genius. He not only go, he can be like small as a subatomic particle, or like 100 feet tall.
Oh, I didn't know he could do cool stuff.
He can get big, which is really important. So there's a scene, you've probably seen it, where the Incredible Hulk one punches that lizard thing. It might be called a Leviathan.
I haven't seen that. Or no, yeah, I think
You
that is
know,
one that I've
that's
heard
my
before.
secret. I'm always angry. Then he turns and he one punches the Leviathan, and you're like, oh my God, the Hulk is super powerful. He beat up a Leviathan. Well, Ant-Man also one punches a Leviathan when he's big.
Yeah.
So he's powerful.
Ant-Man's pretty cool, and it's he's funny. Ant-Man's one of my favorite characters. But yeah, there's that pussy power moment. No, it doesn't ruin the movie, but there's that when I saw it, I'm just like, man, you were doing so good. You were doing so good here. Like you just had that incredible scene where Captain America picks up the fucking hammer, and then you got that little funny moment of levity where like Thor has his Mjolnir, the regular hammer, and Captain America has a Stormbringer, the giant fucking axe, and Thor's like, switch. Like he wants the
you get
big
the
one.
little one.
Yeah, you take the little one, and Captain America's like, all right. You know, it's forged in the heart of a star. I mean, any hammer will do.
But back on
And
Lord
then
of
all of a sudden, it's pussy power time, and like, and look, the black chick from Wakanda who's just got a shaved head and a spear. I don't know how she's supposed to be any more impressive than like Holly Holm beats her up. Like you know what I mean?
Well, but she doesn't get to be on the like Black Widow, bow and arrow guy. If that spear lady doesn't have any power, she doesn't make the
powers.
cut. Only the power people are on the island. Even so, you're saying Ant-Man is like pretty mid-tier. He's not getting voted off.
Yeah, he's pretty mid-tier, I think.
Yeah, mid-tier maybe.
Well, I didn't know he could grow bigger. That seems like he should have named himself after that instead of the.
And he's a genius, you know. Like, although like all of them are like that, they're all pretty multi-talented. It's like, yeah, I can. The Hulk even like you know,
He's a genius, sure. David Banner.
That raccoon probably wouldn't make it very far, although he is likable. I don't think he can do anything.
Very likable guy. You know, cybernetically enhanced raccoon.
The tree, not very useful.
Groot, not very useful. You know, he comes in the clutch a few times. It's his arm they use to get Stormbringer a handle.
Batista, I don't know about him.
No real powers.
He can be invisible by being very still.
Hilarious moment. Hilarious moment.
I remember that was a like a laugh out loud moment when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Where what is the line you guys remember? He's like, "It went over your head," and he's like, "No, it wouldn't. My reflexes are too quick.
I would catch it.
I would catch it.
Nothing goes over my head.
Yeah.
I would catch it." It's fucking great.
Yeah, I liked Guardians of the Galaxy.
So I looked up her superpowers. She's Wakanda's greatest warrior, but not a super powered one, I guess. She has a good spear, a vibranium spear. But what cracks me up is like they had to really scrape the bottom of the barrel to name her superpowers, and she's multilingual. Like that's on the list.
Right next to that, it says sassy.
She speaks English, Korean, and Josha. So I don't know what
they didn't even go balls to the wall with the languages. They gave her 3.
She's trilingual.
English, Korean.
There's regular Melania Trump speaks like 3 times as many languages.
Yeah.
And those are the Eastern European ones with the goofy. Those are tough. I'm sure Korean's not easy.
Yeah, she's and it's not a sex. It's not a sex thing either. Like it's just like you're a bad character. Like you. Captain Marvel is a god. She's literally a god. As much as I hate her character, she is a god.
Yeah, I don't like when the regular characters get to hang out and be part of the team, where it's like, I'm going to be flying around, this guy's going to be shooting fire, and you're going to have a bow and arrow, and you're going to be sneaky. Like, no, you don't get to play.
I never liked Hawkeye. I honestly like I like looking at what's her name? Yeah, Scarlett Johansson, so she can fucking stay. Like in a realistically, if we actually had a super team and Scarlett Johansson wanted to be part of it, we'd let her in. Like if the 3 of us actually had superpowers, if Hulk was the fucking, if Taylor was the fucking Hulk, and Woody was Stark, and I was fucking Ant-Man or whatever the fuck, and Scarlett Johansson was just like, "Can I join?" We were like, "Yep, yep." And Taylor's like, "What does she do?" Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Taylor.
That's Booby Woman. I go by Black Widow.
Taylor's like,
You're Booby Woman.
Tight. Shut the fuck up.
I call her Laundry Girl.
What does she do?
Laundry.
Whites and colors.
Fuck what she does.
She won't shrink your shirts.
She irons.
Walk and breathe.
So
She's
like
fucking
Iron Man.
hired.
No, she irons. She makes
Oh, we call her the chef. Oh, 'cause she's working up schemes? No. Because she's making chicken teriyaki in there for us right now.
Is it good? No.
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 It's awful. She really excels at ham sandwiches, though. Yeah.
But back to Lord of the Rings.
That's realistic to me. Like her being part of a team, it's like, they're not going to turn it down.
Well, she's a master spy. Like that's an actual talent. She's
absolutely
able to
is.
calm down all the Hulk with her words.
And she's had a hysterectomy, so perfect woman.
Has she had a hysterectomy in real life?
Put that in the canon?
No, in the movies.
Oh, I don't
She's
think
been sterilized to some degree.
that's
To some-
complete sterilization.
That is complete.
Even Taylor
she has
wouldn't
been-
pull out on Black Widow.
No,
No.
none of us would.
Mm-mm.
That's the rolling dice. You win.
It's just a loaded pair.
Yahtzee.
What was I gonna? Oh, I didn't mean to take us away from Lord of the Rings. I feel like I don't look at politics in movies quite that much. I think you guys find it more. I do look for politics in my serial killers. I don't mean to get on some high horse. I always wonder who they voted for. That's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I love boobies. They make every show better, and I'm down to see it. Do we know when it comes out?
No,
I think it got pushed back again.
Yeah,
So-
I'm guessing. Next fall, maybe even the fall after. It's gonna be a while.
Did you?
But
Google it?
Hope they take their time.
yeah, take your time. I'm not in a rush. You paid $100 million just for the rights, I think. So do your thing, whatever. Just make it good. Yeah, I don't mind about titties. I just don't like. I hate shit being like fucking super politically correct and like it's just not making sense. They just added like
Really shoehorn stuff in, and it feels ham-handed, not
I
organic.
know they just added a transsexual and like an asexual character to Star Trek, and I'm just like,
Asexual. They've already had robots.
yeah, but Data was straight.
I googled the date. It looks like it might be
And he's
2022.
an android.
I don't know.
Bigot.
I don't know the Android code. I don't know their preferred.
He's an automaton.
An automaton. That's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like I don't care who fucks who on the show. Like I really don't. Like I don't care. Like
No,
Picard. I don't remember Picard ever getting laid.
I think he
always
does
a
on
lot of
vacation sometimes.
He'd be on vacation on Ryza and he'd be wearing that thing so you could see his bulge way too much. Like
Dude,
was
why does
wearing those
Picard
shorts,
have a?
who's
You know-
Juji Mufu's boy toy? Tom.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, Picard's wearing like the Tom shorts. He's got way too much showing.
Well, he'll never come back on.
Why? Because I called him Juju's boy toy?
Yeah. No, he's
Yes,
rolling
that's why.
Oh, come on, that's funny. He'd like that.
That is funny.
Okay.
He'll make a shirt that says that.
I hope he does.
This isn't nearly as specific as your complaint, Kyle, but tell me if it also resonates. I don't want them to reimagine too much some of the mythical creatures that have already been established. So like the cave trolls we saw in Lord of the Rings, they even did a good job making them kind of similar in The Hobbit, even though The Hobbit CGI was kind of fucked. Like the Balrog, the cave trolls, the goblins, the Uruk-hai, the orcs.
Shelob.
All that is Shelob. All of that is established canon. Like if they want to go a different direction with maybe like a creature that we haven't seen yet, and they reimagine that, not even reimagine because we haven't seen it. They imagine that.
Dragon.
Yeah, dragon. That's been established.
Well,
But they can move away from anything
We're
established.
going so far back in time. There's more dragons now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just don't want them to move too far away from that. Like if it's like a Harry Potter looking troll instead, that would really bother me.
I would like it a lot if the show was focused. The main focus of the show was like the race of men. And so like we got to see elves and dwarves and wizards and such very sparingly. And it was a big deal when we did. Like I hope I bet they're not going to do that. I bet they're going to try to make it like a fellowship right off the bat, where we've got like an elf, a dwarf, a human, a wizard, like all being kind of buddy doing shit together. I bet there's going to be like a fucking team. But I would prefer it if it was like we were focused on a group of humans and their sort of inner politics, and maybe they had like an orc problem, and we kept it really centralized, really localized.
Yeah.
And there was just a sprinkling of dwarves, elves, and magic and orcs occasionally. And but those things were rare. Kind of like in Game of Thrones, how like there wasn't a lot of White Walker stuff going on, all the time. You just got a hint of them occasionally.
I agree. I think that would probably be best. They keep it kind of nice, central on the same group. And it doesn't even have to be that the elves, dwarves, orcs, whatever are. I mean, what'll probably happen is it'll like kick off with some sort of emissary from the Kingdom of Men going to one of the other races, talking about a problem with orcs and Uruk-hai, and that establishes a tie between them. And then you kind of understand the size of the.
I hope there's no hobbits.
I'm fine with hobbits. I don't really care. There probably won't be hobbits in this because hobbits didn't get involved in the wars that far from the Shire.
That's why I don't want hobbits, because like in the Lord of the Rings, everybody's like, "What the fuck's a hobbit?" Like nobody knows what a hobbit is because they never
How far back is it? Do you remember?
We don't know. I hope they go really far back, though. I hope they go back to like the elves before the elves went to the islands or whatever.
Numenor, yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's really far back, and I wish they get Ian McKellen.
I think he's too old for it, man. Like
you could CGI that shit. You could de-age him just enough to make it work. He's supposed to be an old man anyway.
If they could do it, I would love that, because that would be great. I was just thinking that, like, because even no matter how far back they go, Gandalf is going to be extant. Like, he exists in that universe.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the most part in some form or another.
Yeah, and he's older than the Earth.
He is the only way that hobbits would get introduced into the story. And so I could see them using Gandalf as a way to bring a hobbit in, because it is kind of established that like Gandalf has always really liked those people. He's always liked the hobbits. He's always
you could de-age him though.
He's 81 though. Like he can't do the job.
You can
memorizing lines and
come on,
staying awake all day.
Yes, he could still do the job.
He's 81. He's gonna die soon, very soon.
I don't think so.
People live to 73 in my mind.
He's spry.
He's expired.
He's 81.
Mm-hmm.
How old's Joe Biden?
77.
Well, that's close.
It is. Yeah. But we're choosing between. Look, people die at 73.
I like that you're saying an 81-year-old can't play Gandalf on Amazon, but a 77-year-old can run the free world.
Neither a 77-year-old or a 74-year-old are a good choice. We're picking amongst these two.
I want the man to play Gandalf. I think he can still do it, and I think they could de-age him enough where he'd look fine. And if he had to do any action, they just CGI that shit.
Look at Ian McKellen's IMDb I just linked, and look at how much work he's done in the past 3 years. Like,
okay,
he's kicking. And so once again, though, at 81, anything can happen at the drop of a hat. So that's pretty risky. But it looks like he's cranking out films and
he's been involved with 7 productions in the last 24 months.
Yeah, he's grinding. So.
Okay, well, this one he did voice work, so we'll discount that one.
I would be cool if they could do it effectively, and he can promise not to die. That'd be good.
As long as he promises.
Do you pinky swear not to die?
I mean, I'd take it. You know, if he really promises to eat right. No, he looks like he already eats right.
I don't know who. I want Gandalf to be part of it. I like Gandalf, and goddamn, he's iconic as that character. I would hope that it was him.
You know what they could do? They could do someone who, like a younger Gandalf who looks enough like Ian McKellen when he was younger. If it is that far back, because it's not like Gandalf has always been an old guy.
How about Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor would work. Yeah, throw him in there.
Gray on him.
That's the Obi-Wan guy, right?
Yeah, it's Obi-Wan.
So have him do that. Yeah, that could work. Like backdate it and have them introduce Gandalf as a younger wizard. Still,
actually, kind of looks like him.
I like that casting choice. Do we know who it is?
Nah, they'll pick a bunch of fucking New Zealand fucks we've never heard of or some shit.
Oh, they haven't picked him yet.
I'm fine with them not using.
I'm sure they've done a lot of casting. I'm just not aware of it. I'm okay with new actors. I didn't know any of the people from Game of Thrones, and I came to love so many of them before I came to hate so many of them.
I mean, think about who was famous from Lord of the Rings before that kicked off. It was literally just Ian McKellen, right? Nobody knew who Orlando Bloom was. Nobody knew Viggo Mortensen. Nobody knew who any of the hobbits were. I mean, Elijah Wood had been in a couple of things. He'd been in like
I feel like Orlando Bloom was maybe one of the more established stars. Am I wrong? Is that where he got it?
Had he done Pirates of the Caribbean yet?
No, Lord of the Rings springboarded him into Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think it made all those people's careers. I think Ian was really the only one that was known, at least to us. I'm sure international audiences probably knew, like Carl Urban and people like that, but I didn't know any of these people.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
The reason Orlando Bloom's so well known to me is because I mix him up with another good-looking guy from Enemy at the Gates.
Oh, that's a completely different guy called Jude Law, who looks nothing like Orlando Bloom.
Nope. They're both thin white guys.
They're pictures next to each other.
I will.
There's got to be some sort of brain defect where like you can't. Come on, they're not the same at all.
I don't think Jude Law looks like Orlando Bloom.
Not even a little.
Looking for a proper picture.
Looking for the one that looks the most like the picture of Jude Law I have.
Yes, yeah. I'm definitely setting myself up for success.
Here, I found a picture of Jude Law dressing as Orlando Bloom for Halloween, and as you can see,
I'm telling you, these guys. Look, I'm not saying they could be twins or anything, but they could be brothers.
No, they couldn't. Orlando Bloom is a manlet, and Jude Law is an adult man.
Orlando Bloom is a manlet?
Yeah, he's a tiny little fella.
What?
Is that true?
It looks like it to me.
It says 5'11".
Really? He looks tiny.
Elijah Wood, 5'6", very small fella. I like Elijah Wood.
I like him too.
Everything I've seen him in, I've liked a lot.
I really liked his character in Sin City when he was like the little serial killer maniac guy that ate people.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever see the second Sin City?
It was awful.
It was horrific. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was almost impressive how little interest it captured in me and how terrible it was.
Yeah, it was really terrible. Same with the second 300.